Wanted to do a quick video about some of the box office problems that have been occurring this year and this summer. Now we're in the beginning of summer, so yeah, Furiosa, and I also want to talk about the Fall Guy too. Um, so unfortunately, Furiosa is flopping pretty bad. It's going to lose a lot of money. And she makes some good points in this. This beyond the trailer. Shout out to her. I've been watching her for a while. Um, I like the way she breaks stuff down, and but she makes some good points. And I think I'll just kind of listen and then comment. So here we go.
Studios, but definitely for moviegoers who say, wow, look how fast The Fall Guy hit digital. If we don't go see these movies in theaters, maybe they'll hit digital quickly too. So I think, it's not so much, so The Fall Guy did what it had to do, but it might have undercut a lot of other movies' theatrical chances this summer season. Let's talk about Furiosa, which opened 20 million below its predecessor, which came out 9 years ago. So inflation is a major factor there as well. So you can't say that it's the Mad Max brand itself that's the issue. People paid to see it 9 years ago. When I put out this poll yesterday about why aren't you going to the movies, and really, as I said, movie theaters are doing an awful job providing a quality movie-going experience. Some of you, again, including many of you who obviously own AMC stock, shot back, it's the quality of the films themselves. Thank you very much. And while I won't dismiss these other issues, I think they're a major problem. I am starting to agree with you that quality is also a major problem. I saw 3 movies over the past few days in the theater. And 1974's Young Frankenstein playing it, then she's playing with her hair, which therefore then got in everybody's view as the first film. And so, I guess it's not the brand, but it is, George Miller still has culpability because he didn't deliver as good a movie. Also an R-rated film. Now, R-rated films can do quite well. Deadpool and Wolverine is an R-rated film, and it's the 3rd Deadpool movie, the first 2 having done quite well. But on a holiday weekend, what is an R-rated movie?
Okay, so she's making some good points here. I will say I haven't seen the movie yet, so I mean, it could be great. I loved Fury Road. I really like the Road Warrior. I'm honestly not really into the first Mad Max. I've watched it a couple times. I can appreciate its historical value, and I'm a big fan of the Fallout video games. It's a massive influence on them. But so is the Road Warrior. So, but the first Mad Max, I've just never been into. I find the movie boring, honestly. I don't know. Maybe I should give it another chance. But I've watched it like twice at least, so just never been into it. But I like, Road Warrior. Thunderdome even has some good parts, especially like the first half of Thunderdome. I think is an all right movie. It has its problems, but Fury Road was a great movie, and they decided. I mean, I don't know why it took 9 years to make this movie Furiosa, which I think is a knock on it. Because a lot of people liked it, but that was 9 years ago. Or they watched it, 9, maybe 8 years ago or so on streaming or whatever. They rented it. Now maybe this will have some legs on streaming, which I could see, because it's still quote unquote a Mad Max movie, but I don't know. I'm not sure if it's enough, because this movie cost like 150 million to make, or around there, or maybe 140. So we'll see. But she goes on to make some good points. Mad Max Fury Road, which is rated R, opened the weekend before Memorial Day. This opened on Memorial Day weekend. This is rated R as well. So her point is maybe they should have opened it the weekend before, because Memorial Day weekend, I think, is usually like a family weekend, and it barely beat Garfield. So I mean, we're talking a couple $1 million that barely beat it, like maybe one or two. So that's not good. Um, so Furiosa's breakdown for the weekend was 72% male, 28% female, which is interesting because you'd think you would have more female because it stars a female, but it's 72% male. And now that's for the people that went, and which wasn't that many really. So I don't know. I think one of the problems is that it's called Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, and apparently he's in the movie for like one. I mean, he's like in it for like a few seconds in the background or something. I heard, but he's basically not in the movie. So like, I think that's a problem. Like people want Mad Max in their Mad Max movies. And with Fury Road, some people complain that he wasn't in it enough, but he is in it. And him and Charlize Theron are in it, and they kind of share the screen. So I don't know, and I haven't seen the movie, but this is just my guessing that what they should have done is they should have had Tom Hardy back. Like I don't understand why. I mean, he can't come back. Like I just saw that the trailer for Venom 3 dropped like today. So like Tom Hardy is a box office draw, right? Now, is Anya Taylor-Joy or Chris Hemsworth box office draws? Well, I don't think so. I mean, people say Chris Hemsworth is, but it's because it's the Thor movies, it's the MCU. But outside of that, is he a massive draw? I don't think we've seen that. Like his Extraction 2 is apparently really good, and a lot of people watched it, but that's streaming only. So, and Anya Taylor-Joy, she was in the Queen's Gambit, but that was, I'm pretty sure, streaming only. So that's not the same as a theatrical released movie. Um so yeah, so I think some of the reason why he didn't make as much as Fury Road or more is because um people were like, well, where's Mad Max, where's Tom Hardy? Like I'll go pay for that. But and I've heard rumors that Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron didn't really like each other working with each other on Fury Road, and maybe Tom Hardy and George Miller didn't really like working with each other. I don't know. Um, and maybe Charlize Theron too and George Miller, they just didn't all get along. So George Miller's maybe just like, all right, well, I don't want to work with Tom Hardy again for this, and I want to work with Charlize Theron again. So let's do a prequel with Anya Taylor-Joy, and make a movie that way. But it didn't work out. So I think that was definitely a misstep. Or I mean, heck, bring back Mel Gibson. I mean, I think if they brought back Mel Gibson, it could have maybe made more money than this. But I don't know. He still has his falling out and everything, and we'll really get into that because they had Tom Hardy. You could have had him. I bet if you offered him enough money, he would have came back. But unfortunately, they didn't. I mean, when I heard Tom Hardy was going to be in the be Mad Max, I thought, well, that's pretty good. It's pretty good casting to me. So yeah, 72% male, 28% female. So it's a female led movie, but you're still by far the majority is male. And I don't know, maybe you would have got even more females in the theater if Tom Hardy was there. He's a good looking guy. I mean, that could be part of it too. Also, you would have got the percentage of female a little higher if they had Tom Hardy there, and then obviously would have made more money. Because another thing to remember is 45.4 million Fury Road. Well, that's 9 years ago. So inflation, really the number is like, I mean, in today's money, it's like 55 million. It's like 60 million. So that also has to be taken into account. So it's much lower than that. But yeah, she kind of goes on to say that, you know, she makes some good points. Like, yeah, 72% male, and and then she goes on to talk about the Fall Guy and the problems with that. And this is another movie that flopped, and I've seen this movie, so I could, you know, speak about at least the quality of it. But again, I'm sure when I watch Furiosa, I'm sure I'll like the movie a lot. She said that she thinks that Fury Road's better, and you know, I mean, she said Fury Road's a better movie too. So I don't know. I have a friend who saw Furiosa, and he said he thinks Furiosa's better. So and this other guy I know said it's the best movie he's seen the whole year. So I mean, it's George Miller. He's not a hack. You know, he's a good director. Unfortunately, I think this will really hurt his career, at least with big box office stuff, big budget stuff. Unfortunately, but that's just how it's going to be, I think, because he was planning to make another Mad Max movie. Um, I'm not sure exactly what it would have been. I think it was called The Wasteland, but I don't think that's going to happen anymore. I don't think WB is going to make that happen anymore. But um, yeah, it's too bad. But and then you have the Fall Guy, which flopped, and that budget is like 130 million. But then some people say it's like 140, 150 million, and it's made about like 140 million. So it's a flop. And the thing to always remember is, I hear some people say, "Oh, well, it cost 100 million to make. It made 100 million, so it made 110 million, let's say. So it made its money back." But that's not how it works, because the theaters take their cut, and then you also have to advertise the movie. And generally speaking, when you advertise the movie, you take the budget and then you double that. So say your movie cost 100 million, your advertising is going to be 90 to 100 million. Maybe not quite as much as the budget, but you almost double it. You know, so then you need to make 190 plus, because then on top of it, the theaters take, like, I've heard a third. Some people say half. I'm not sure exactly. I know in China they take even more, unless it's a Chinese produced movie, which is what I've heard some other movies reviewers say. So they take even more, but you know, let's not talk about that yet. Um, but yeah, so they take at least a third to half. So, and Furiosa is actually, I think, next week gonna open in China. So I guess we'll see how that does. Because to be fair to Furiosa, it hasn't opened in China yet. So maybe China could help save it. But again, you get less take in China. Like I've heard it's 25 to 30% that the studios take back. So much they get much less than, say, when you open in Britain or America or Canada or Mexico or whatever, which is different. So the Fall Guy. I mean, I made a review of it. I like the movie, but again, that's a movie where, and then she goes into this too, where it's about, like, inside baseball on Hollywood, which honestly a lot of people just don't care about, like how the sausage is made. And then you have Ryan Gosling, who just made a bunch of money with Barbie, but a lot of his movies don't make that much money. I mean, I like a lot of them, but they just don't do it. And you know, he's great in this. I think he produced this, but yeah, I'm not sure he's a massive draw. And Emily Blunt, I mean, is she? Not really. I mean, she was in Live Die Repeat with Tom Cruise, and I think that ended up, making some money, but that's a Tom Cruise movie. So yeah. So and then on top of that, you have a movie where it's part romance, and then it's also like an action movie. So it's like an action romance comedy, pretty much. So it's like, who is the movie for? Is it for women or is it for men? Because, like it or not, uh women and men choose different things when they're deciding if they want to go see a movie. So I think maybe that also hindered it, because it's like, people didn't really know who this was for. um I've asked some women about the Fall Guy, and they've said that and they liked it, and they all said they enjoyed it, because Ryan Gosling. So that's why they enjoyed it. And they're like, oh, Emily Blunt's okay. The romance is fine, but it's mainly Ryan Gosling. So, but that's just my 2 cents for whatever it's worth. Um, I mean, the second weekend of Furiosa, I think Garfield ended up um ended up beating it, and If ended up beating it. So Furiosa, the second weekend, got down to three. You have Garfield, If, and Furiosa. So it's just not looking good for the movie, but which is unfortunate, because by all accounts it's actually a really good movie, and yeah, and maybe I'll go see it. I loved Fury Road, so, but that's about it. And then the next weekend we have Bad Boys 3 is going to come out. Now I wonder how that's gonna, or Bad Boys 4, sorry, is going to come out. So I wonder how that's gonna do. That's interesting because of the Will Smith thing with him, slapping, um, Chris Tucker in the face, or Chris Tucker, no, Chris Rock in the face. So that should be interesting. I heard, but I mean, I haven't seen Bad Boys 3 yet, but a lot of people liked it. So I liked Bad Boys 1 and 2, especially the first one. I think is a really good movie. But I think that's coming out this weekend. Bad Boys 4, or what is it called? Die or Die, Ride or Die. So, anyways, I usually don't make videos about the box office, but a lot of people are talking about Furiosa and the Fall Guy, um, for movie reviewers. So I thought I'd just make a video. Maybe next week I'll talk about how good Bad Boys 4 does. But yeah, that's about it. If you could smash that like button, that'd be great. Really helps with the channel. And I'll see you next time.